is the Conservative Colonel Podcast with Harrison Dawes, where one man stands against the rising tide of liberalism. This officer in the battle to preserve our nation is the Conservative Colonel.
Nothing ends here. Our hopes and our journeys continue.
And here's Harrison Dawes.
Welcome back to the Conservative Colonel Podcast. I'm your host, Harrison. And I'm not joined today by Graves simply because Graves is celebrating a very special day. So I would like to ask everybody to tell Graves to have a great day. I understood that he wasn't going to be on today. So I wanted to give him a little shout out. I hope you're having a great day, Graves. I hope all is well. And I can't wait to have you on next week again. And again, this is kind of something we're going to be doing a bit more of, as the show is now progressing, because we've gotten back in the swing of things again. We're releasing episodes on Thursday for once, and we've done so consecutively. But for instance, I know in December I'm going to be pretty much out of action and part of November. So you might hear Graves more those 2 months. We normally take a break, and we might still take a break the week of Christmas because no one really should be working that week anyway, in my opinion. But we're going to kind of flip-flop a bit more. We've done a couple episodes with Graves just being the host and me not being on there. It's usually because of work conflict, but kind of trying to start now making sure that we release an episode every Thursday. And I'm going to try to, I'm going to need y'all's help to remind me to let Graves know ahead of time when to get ready to host the show for by himself for a bit. But we're doing that to kind of, again, keep the show going. Life happens. We understand that, but we're going to try to keep it going now. As I've said before in the past, this show does mean a lot to both me and Graves. We are just both by nature extremely busy people. We both are involved in a lot and doing a lot. But here's to hoping that this year will be the year. Speaking of this year, come November, it will be the 2-year anniversary since we started the podcast. I am working on bringing a special guest on. We're just going to talk about politics, about conservatism as a whole, and kind of just really whatever we think of. I am still planning on bringing some more people on to talk about conservatism, Jeffersonian conservatism. That's kind of what branch I put myself in as, think Chris McDaniel, think Thomas Jefferson, think Ron Paul, think Thomas Massey. That's kind of my group. So it goes by a lot of names. I'm choosing Jeffersonian just because I like it better. But so I'm having brain farts today. I don't know why. I made sure to have my cup of coffee before coming on, but I guess it's not kicking in. But we are going to try to have more people on to kind of talk about that. We did that with the 25th episode. We were going to do that originally with the 51st episode, but I kind of, when we kind of took that break after the 50th, so much happened. And of course, what I'm going to call the Charlie Kirk incident, the assassination, happened, and that has changed the game, if you will. It's still something that I feel very hard in my heart, and it's still something that's driving me right now to make change. And we're going to be talking about change coming to Mississippi, whether you like it or not, in this episode. But man, it has been a crazy year, but I hope this continues to show people why we fight, why we have to win, why conservatism is the best way. Oh, my phone is still on volume. Why conservatism is the best way to go when it comes to government. You know, conservatism has a good bit of branches in it, but we'll fight that fight along with this fight. We have to win, people. It's not a oh, we can do it, or not a oh, it will work itself out type of deal anymore. No. And as we're going to talk about also today, the left's increasing violence. And we're going to be talking about that a good bit. So let's see here. I'm going to pull up his name and go ahead and get ready for later, because we're going to be talking about him. But before we kind of dive into anything else, please go check out conservativekernel.com. You have access to our store there. We have logo merchandise, and right now just one custom T-shirt. It's "Make Conservatives Great Again" with the snapping turtle, Mitch McConnell, on it, with the hope. I stole from Obama, but I love the shirt. It makes me laugh every time I see it. I had forgotten that I designed it. We haven't really plugged the store in a while, so I kind of had a brain fart and didn't realize that I had been promoting it. So yeah, please go check out the store. As I said, I'm very proud of it, and we'll be hopefully adding some more stuff to the store soon. And of course, you can check us out on our main platform, Spreaker, but we're also on Apple Podcast, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Amazon Music, and Audible, Cashbox, Deezer, Podcast Addict, Podchaser, Listen Notes, and Good Pods. And of course, we release the video format of the show every Wednesday on YouTube. I'm actually a bit behind, and episode 53 is uploading to YouTube now, and it'll be an instant premiere, releasing at the same time type of deal, because I forgot yesterday. My truck, me and Graves were actually going to be able to be on the show today, and I'll talk about Graves not being on in a second, just in case I didn't. If I did, I'll try to make it quick. I'm honestly having huge brain farts today. But so me and Grace had scheduled to record yesterday, and my truck broke down. Turns out I had a bad battery that was sizzling, to say the least. And so I was able to make it to AutoZone, but it took a minute. Nothing on AutoZone's part. I don't keep a lot of money on me, so I was trying to find a way to log into my bank. And sometimes my phone is iffy. I got a very old iPhone, and it was not wanting to connect to any internet. And so it took a bit of time to transfer the money into my account. And so by the time I texted Graves, I was like, Graves, dude, my whole day has been ruined. I've been sitting on the side of the road trying to find a way to jump off my vehicle. By the way, always keep jumpers with you. I have learned that the hard way. I have the equipment to change a tire, but I sat there and I looked and I thought I had it. I have something for a flat tire. I have something to change my tire. I have a simple repair kit, an emergency radio, but I didn't have jumper cables. And so I sat for about an hour outside of work, just putting like my head into my engine almost. And I didn't hear my truck sizzling, my battery sizzling, but by the time someone came to work and they were like, hey, I have jumper cables, I was like, oh, I could hug you. And she helped me out. She jumped me off, and I was able to get to AutoZone in Waynesboro. And they were like, yeah, you're probably going to need a new battery. And I was like, don't say it. He's like, dude, I can hear your battery sizzling. We could cook eggs on it right now. I was like, oh, crap. So I had to stay there. And as I said earlier, my phone was crap. I need a new one. And just kind of took up the whole day. So me and Graves weren't able to record. Graves is celebrating something special today. So I hope everybody, all of our listeners, kind of says we hope Graves has a great day. And coming from me, Graves, if you're listening, I hope you have a very special day, brother. Cannot wait to have you back on the show next week. And have a great time. Graves is in Oxford today, I believe. So you have a good time up there in northern Mississippi. I'll hold down the fort down here in southern Mississippi. But yes. We got some interesting stuff to talk about today, and I think I've done all the plugs that I need to do. So let me just kind of pull up our first story here. And while I'm doing that, let us take our first quick commercial break because Spreaker wants me to take a couple more. So we'll be right back. Welcome back to the Conservative Colonel podcast. And the first bit of news, and we're going to be kind of diving into thought today more than just covering news. And I was talking about some great Jeffersonian conservatives, and I'm not gonna lie, Ted Cruz accidentally kind of slipped my mind in the Senate. He's a pretty good one. Of course, you can rank conservativeness on a scale almost, and you kind of can do the same thing with Ted. He's not perfect, but I think he is a great defender of the Constitution and of our founding fathers. There's a couple things he's done that I've disagreed with heavily. But I wouldn't put him on the Washington conservative side, but I would put him on our Jeffersonian side, but he's probably not as Jeffersonian as a lot of Jeffersonians. He's up there, but I wouldn't say he's all the way. And Ted Cruz was in the Washington, what's it called? I'm going to have a brain fart here. Let's see here. The Wall Street Journal. I don't know why I said Washington, but the Wall Street Journal, because he wants to make it easier to sue the United States government for censorship. He wants it to be harder for the government to censor us. And I'll tell you why this is a good idea, especially right now. A lot of people will sit back and be like, oh my gosh, we don't need it or something like that. But I'll tell you, go look at England right now. Go look at London. Them poor people are getting their rights trampled on. And I mean trampled bad. Like, people are getting arrested for praying in their own homes. People are getting arrested for sharing the gospel, which hurts me a lot. I feel like Christianity and conservatism really connect. You don't have to be a Christian, but it really makes sense for you to be a Christian because conservatism is not about the government telling you what to do or how to be a good person. They expect your religion to guide you, and a lot of it is based on Christian principles. And because I believe that's something Chris McDaniel said on Chris McDaniel's America, a recent episode. He was like, conservatism works best when it has Christianity with it. And I couldn't agree more. I think a lot of our problems in this country come from the fact that we've turned our backs on Christianity. And then because of that, we've turned our back on conservatism because they work hand in hand. You can't really have conservatism without a religion foundation, a Christianity foundation. And if you, as I said, we've talked about England a couple times on the show. London, the Crown is in full effect in England. And it's funny because the Crown isn't even doing anything, but it looks like they're going back to that monarchy. People can't criticize the government. They can't preach their own religion. They're not even safe in their own homes. And it's because of the Muslim invasion over there, where the foreigners have completely taken over the government and their representatives and forcing Christians to live in this almost third world country where they're leading it and telling everybody else they can't follow any other religion. Say what you want, but when Christianity is done right, now I know there's great examples of Christianity being done wrong, but you can't force someone to be a Christian. And a lot of Christians aren't going to force you to live by their laws. It's all about choice. The choice to follow God. The choice to worship him. And if you love him, you will keep his commandments. And so when Christianity's done right, it's another form of freedom of expression. You choose to love God. And because you love God, because he sent his son to die for you, you're going to follow his commandments. And you're going to try to be the best person you can be for society and for your God. Now, I could talk about some of the violence coming from that side over in England, heck, over here in the U.S., but I think that's a different episode. That's a whole lot of topic right there. But I'm very happy that Ted Cruz is putting this forward. And he says he hopes that the reaction to Jimmy Kimmel's suspension might help get his bill some bipartisan support from both sides. You know why? I don't think what happened to Jimmy was the destruction of free speech. You know, part of me, I'm a bit biased. I think if he wasn't at work when he said this stuff, I honestly don't think it should affect him. You know, I'm someone that's pretty controversial, but I usually try not to bring that into work. You know, when I'm at work, I'm there for a job. When I'm out giving my beliefs, when I'm out defending history, when I'm out doing talks, that's when, if something came back to bite me, okay, well, you're stamping on my freedom of speech here. I'm not bringing this into work. You're bringing it to work without me even being here. So I think what happened to Jimmy was about right. If you're going to say something like that and piss off the majority of people, the company has a right to defend itself when it comes to employees saying stupidity at work, especially a live show. You know, if I started cussing up a storm on this show, I'm pretty sure Spreaker would throw me off the air. But I don't. I keep this family oriented. I keep it PG for the purpose of I want everybody to listen to it. But I also understand that while this is my show, I can do whatever I want on it. I own it, but it is being broadcast elsewhere. And if I didn't own it, say if I worked for another studio or if a studio worked it, you know, there's going to be limitations on what you can say. Just like when you join the military, there's going to be limitations on what you can say. It's work. You don't take that to work. Now, in my opinion, I think religion at work is a good thing. Again, spreading the gospel. But I'm kind of going to agree with that. I know Chris talked about it again. I'm going to shoot back to Chris. But he was like, you know, you were at a job and you weren't the government wasn't telling you can't say this. Your employer was. So that's not really a stampulation on freedom of speech. I can't go to work and say, you know, I don't like cows. I'm a cattle farmer. What's that going to do? Or I'm, you know, a vegan and I'm telling everybody not to eat the cows when I'm trying to sell the meat. You know, that's because I'm not in charge of my family farm yet. You know, say my father comes in, he's like, well, we're going to have to let you go. Well, why? Well, you're telling everybody not to buy meat. That's the same thing, I would say. If it was the government, or if he was in, you know, a restaurant, or if he was speaking at a Democratic thing, or if he was just giving a speech for a book, or if he was in an interview where he wasn't at work, I would say that's different. I would say, you know, you couldn't fire him for that, or suspend him for that. But also at the same time, he came back and gave a half-aid apology. Not even really an apology, just more of, hey, that's my bad. And then he makes fun of Christianity. Good job, Jimmy. Really good to stay out of the limelight there, bud. But I I will say this. I agree with the fact that we need more expression freedom. I mean, look what happened to Charlie. Look what happens at college campuses where people are shut down and their freedom of speech is ignored by an institution. I do think we need some more security, so I am happy to see this coming up. And we're going to take a quick commercial break again, and now we're going to kind of jump into something else, the IRS. So we'll be right back after this quick commercial break. Welcome back to the Conservative Colonel Podcast. I'm your host, Harrison. And the IRS has laid off nearly half of its workforce due to the government shutdown. And I'm getting this from, the Young Americans for Liberty page, YAL. Great people, love them to death. I think they're a great example of what Jeffersonian conservatism is. I would ask all my viewers to support them if you can. And they posted this meme of the grumpy cat smiling to this news, and it is great news. I think we need to abolish the IRS. Less taxation, the better. There's other ways for the government to make its money. Income tax needs to be gone. Property tax needs to be gone. Remember, people, we fought a war for taxes to get away from the stupidity of taxation without representation. And while we are represented, we are heavily taxed. And I really don't feel like I find a person that says, you know what we need. Well, I found liberals that say that. Liberals will complain about taxes and then find ways for the government to spend more money. But the government doesn't need that much money to operate, in my opinion. We're going to have taxes for our military. We're going to have taxes for limited government offices, positions. We shouldn't have as many government positions as we have. It's stupid how many people the government employs. But there is going to be some taxes. As a conservative, I recognize that, but I still think that we have way too many taxes. And I would be okay with cutting 99% of them. I mean, just being honest, we're overtaxed too much. Heck, I'm a farmer. And when I got my taxes back in April, how much I owed the IRS and the federal government, my eyes nearly popped out of my head. I was like, oh my gosh, I am going to be broke. And I was. And it was a hard time. And then, now with a couple of incidents that's happened with my truck, having to get it fixed, not just with the battery, but with some other things, I'm out a lot of money. So now I got to think, okay, well, how much do I need to save to make sure I have enough to pay for taxes? And not looking good for a farmer over here, especially if my taxes go up like I'm predicting they will. So it's a funny thing, ain't it? Just the government and taxes and how we all hate it, but we can't get rid of it because rhinos will sit up there and they'll ask for more taxes. They'll ask for more money. The liberals get up there. What are they going to do? They're going to ask for more money. They're going to ask for more stuff. They're going to ask to give out free stuff to get free votes while costing the tax-paying citizen. Again, our founding fathers, and I do want to clarify this, did not fight because they were getting taxed. They were getting taxed without representation, and they did not like that. They said they thought they should have a say in their taxes. And today, we're being overtaxed again. And this time we have representation, but they're not really looking out for the best interest of the taxpayer. They're just wanting more money to do more things. This isn't like it's going to the good of the country. A lot of it's going to illegal immigrants. A lot of it's being used to bribe people, to do things for backroom deals and handshakes and this and that. And I mean, a lot of it, yeah, you could have some good stuff come out of all the taxes. But should we, is the question. And I don't think we should be getting taxed as much. So all that to say, I'm happy that IRS has lost half or nearly half of its workforce due to the government shutdown, I say abolish the IRS. Abolish the Department of Education. We could abolish a lot of stuff and save the taxpayers a lot of money. And we could start getting rid of some of the taxes we honestly don't need, and some taxes that are completely unconstitutional, like, again, property tax. You're telling me I own something, but if I don't pay this tax, you can come and seize it? That's not ownership. That's a grant. That is, we are allowing you to hold on this as long as you pay us money. It's renting. You're renting land that you're supposed to own. Again, stupid. I think income tax is stupid. You're going to tax me for making money? What? Now, again, I understand we still have to tax, but some of the taxes just really make you scratch your head and be like, wow, this is just way too much. But kind of getting off into that now, we're going to talk about Virginia for a second. Virginia has an attorney general election coming up. And Jay Jones, 36-year-old Democrat, is running for that office. You would think with his education, he'd be a lot better gentleman. The University of Virginia, the William and Mary, the University of Virginia School of Law. And now he's running for Attorney General of Virginia. And I want to tell you why he is the definition of the left. And they're craving for violence. They're craving for assassination culture. They are wanting to kill us. There's no simple way to not look at it like this anymore. I can say I don't like Joe Biden all day. I can say I hope Joe Biden gets, impeached all day. I'm not threatening the president. I'm not threatening people that I disagree with, because that is the basics of a corrupt society. That is the basics, the foundation of a dictatorship. That if you don't like what the other side says, you kill that side. That's not how political discussion works in this country. That's not how political disagreements are handled in this country. But the Democrats, the liberals, they don't care anymore. They like what happened to Charlie Kirk. And that should make your blood boil. Because think of this. We talked about the Charlie Kirk assassination. Episode 51. And we talked about how a lot of liberals' reaction shows you just what has happened to this country. The brainwashing extent that the Democratic Party has put under its party. Its people, what's flourished. They've called us Nazis. They've called us fascists. They've called us basically Hitler himself, the devil, evil. They've called us all these things. And then they wonder why their supporters are assassinating us, or attempted assassinations, or are physically harming us, or in some cases killing us. Murder. They act shocked. And then they go back and do it all over again. You look at the liberal violence. It's projected with pride. That one girl, actress, I can't remember her name, holding a head of Donald Trump, blood coming out. Liberals trampling on Charlie Kirk memorials. Benny Thomas, which I hope during the next commercial break I find this tweet of his. All that has led to this violence in America, this division in America. It's all been perpetrated by the party, because as long as we're divided, we're easily controllable. And so, Jay, there's a text message that's come out. And I'll let you know when Jay's talking. But first, I don't know who's texting him, but this person says, they say nice things about everyone, LOL. Jay says this, and I quote, "If those guys die before me, I will go to their funerals to piss on their graves and send them out awash in something. Person that's texting him says Jay Jones, his name, like a mother scolding a child. 3 people, 2 bullets. Gilbert, Hitler, and Pol Pot. Gilbert gets 2 bullets in the head. Spoiler, this is Jay talking, starting at 3 people. Spoiler, put Gilbert in the crew with 2 worst people you know, and he receives both bullets every time. Person talking to Jay. Jay, please stop. Jay Jones. LOL. Okay. The person talking to Jay Jones. It really bothers me when you talk about hurting people or wishing death upon them. You can tell this was probably a friend talking to him. And I don't know the story. But these are actual texts from someone running for office, a Democrat running for office. They are wishing murder on us. They're comparing us to Hitler and saying, actually, we're worse than Hitler. Because if you had 2 bullets and you would shoot Hitler or Gilbert, he's going to shoot Gilbert. If this doesn't concern you, you need to open your eyes. This is the danger coming to our country. This is the fear coming to our country. It's crazy to see what is happening. It is crazy to see that they're fine with this, mind you. This is just the left. This is just joking. No, these jokes ain't funny. We've talked about how the left have criticized comedians, saying they're trying to bring harm, or they're oppressing a race or community, or they're doing this, they're spreading hate. But when y'all are actually talking about killing people, it's just a joke. And I'm pretty sure if I typed in Virginia, let's just AG race, Gilbert. Let's see here. Let me just take away that. I'm unsure who Gilbert is, so we're gonna do some research real quick. I'm still not seeing anything, but I'm gonna guess that this person is a Democrat or a Republican, and yes, he said that he would kill Todd Gilbert. House of Delegates Speaker. He apologizes for it, but I mean, again, what does that do? Hey, sorry, I threatened that it'd be funny if we killed someone. And I just don't believe in his apology. I cannot listen to his apology and know he more likely did not mean it. He's just trying to get elected. But the funny thing is this is going to make Democrats love him. They love violence now. The side of peace. The side of the working man. The side of acceptance is talking about killing people. Shocker, shocker, shocker. The Democrats are at it again. If you don't think it's time to stand up, you're blind. I'm sorry, but you're blind. If you think this is going to blow over, you're crazy. If you don't want your kids, your grandkids to live in a communist utopia where people could get shot for stating their beliefs, the time to get involved is now. We have to make the change we want to make. Vote for the people that will make the change. Now, I talked about this after Chris lost the lieutenant governor's race in Mississippi. And then people are like, oh my gosh, Delbert's a Democrat. We're purple now. The whole state is ranked as purple. We're not red. We are purple. We're in the process of turning blue. We're going to talk about that at the end of the show. But people were shocked. It's not like Chris told them. It's not like Chris said, hey, guys, Delbert, the Democrat, is running for re-election. We need to get him out. People just said Chris was throwing mud. No, Chris was telling the truth. And what happened is everybody regretted voting for Delbert. But I guarantee you, if Delbert could run for a third term, he would do it again. And he would probably win. It's the sad thing. He's running for governor. I'm scared to death he's going to win that. Because people just think it's going to blow over. Oh, well, Delbert's a good guy. He'll reconsider. No, Delbert's part of the problem. He probably enjoys all this violence. Knows he can keep him in power. Now, that's unproven. That's a gut feeling. It is a gut feeling. But they're craving it. They have a crazy obsession with assassination culture, murder. And it's past time we stand up, people. We're going to take a quick commercial break. Our last one, more than likely, as we kind of go into, I'm going to try to see if we can find the Benny Thompson quote. And then we're going to jump into what's happening to Mississippi. Are we turning blue? So we'll be right back after these messages. Welcome back to the Conservative Colonel Podcast. And I did find the tweets from Representative Benny Thompson. 2021, Benny Thompson said, I'm happy to see the George Floyd bill pass in the House. We will continue to do our part, resulting in the death of George Floyd. Now, this is what he says on an assassination of a conservative. Today, I voted against the Charlie Kirk resolution. While I condemn his violent murder, this resolution sought to elevate Charlie Kirk as a role model I could not support in good conscience. But a crackhead, that is what America needs as a role model. Hot dang, give that man a raise. And it just shows, again, the left in general. They're okay with a crackhead. They're okay with someone who is a convicted criminal. Be a role model, but someone who's spreading the gospel, someone who's just wanting to debate people freely. Well, I can't in good conscience support that. No, Benny, no. It's just you don't like us. Just say it with your chest. I would respect you more. I mean, golly, man, just say you hate us all and let's get it over with. You're still going to keep your seat. You're in the bluest part of the state. You're fine, Benny. Don't act like you are doing this out of morals, because you're not. You're doing this because you don't like us. And I mean, I don't know how you can think other than that. An assassinated man murdered in front of his wife and kids, a conservative leader. Benny doesn't lift a finger. Convicted felon, a drug user, convicted of multiple crimes. Let's put him up as a role model. Let's make sure he has his memory enshrined for years. I don't know what to say about that. He will continue to do his part unless it's not supportive of his party or his agenda. And then, no, I don't care about this horror, this atrocity. But they're the party of the people. They're the party that cares. Let me give you a news flash. Neither of these parties care about you. The Republican Party has been mostly taken over by rhinos. You'll be able to point to a good Republican every now and then. Maybe some of them are good Republicans on this day of the week. On the next day, they're not so good. Or maybe some of them are just Mitch McConnell. Full-blown rhinos that couldn't care less. But they don't act like you care. But that's Benny for you. That I wanted to find that quote because I think it goes along with the last story that they just hate us and they want us dead. And I think this is true. They don't like us. They don't want to reach across the aisle. They don't want to compromise unless it's their way. And it's them getting all they want. And the Republicans are going farther and farther to the left, taking this country farther and farther to the left. And then we'll compromise all dead gum day long. Compromise is great. But the definition of a compromise is both sides are losing something to gain something. I'm about tired of the Republicans compromising to lose ground. You can't compromise with these people. Again, they want us dead. So let's stop acting like we can compromise. We need to win, and we need to get this country back on track. And now our last story of the day. And this is coming from the Washington Post. Can Democrats win in the South? Their plan starts with investing in big in smaller state races. And again, it's kind of not hard to see that they're doing that and they're winning. Look at Virginia. Look at Georgia. Heck, look at Florida. Look at Texas. We're already on the road to losing the conservative stronghold. And if we lose it, we're done. But there's no red flags showing up. Mississippi is purple, people. Go look on my personal political page. Harrison Dawes from Mississippi. Hit the cover, scroll one, because I changed it when Charlie passed. But change it, and you'll see a conservative outline of the country, and you'll see Mississippi is purple in it. That wasn't done because I was upset that Chris lost the election. That was the result of Chris losing the election and us honestly starting to be more and more liberal in Mississippi. Every person might be a Republican in Mississippi almost. But are they conservatives? And the answer to that question is no, they ain't. Mississippi is surround 99% of our people in Mississippi are rhinos. They saw that being a Republican means they win. So what do? They run as Republicans. They win. They vote Democrat. And then maybe the last year before the election, they're going to do a lot of good, little, and I mean little conservative things. Look at what we did. Conservatism is alive in Mississippi. The Republican Party has never been stronger in the state of Mississippi. The Mississippi Republican Party is saying, hey, nothing has been better than it has been in Mississippi today because the Republican Party is leading the way. But they're lying to you because they don't want to keep their people to their party platform. They just want to make sure they have as many R's as they can. That's the truth. A shocking development. But we're steadily becoming more liberal here in Mississippi. We're steadily moving to the left. Why is that? If we have the Republican super majority, we have the presidents to be like, you know what, guys? I think people in Mississippi really like conservatism. I think we need to do more of that. Everybody looks around. Well, we do have the super majority. Sure. And it should be. But it's not happening. Why? Why? And it's because of this. The Republican Party has been infiltrated with a lot of liberals that don't change political views. They just want to get elected with that little R by their name. But the Mississippi Republican Party reposted this thing on Facebook and saying, you know, the Democrats is trying to turn Mississippi blue. They're not trying. They're seceding. We're purple, dagnabbit. At one time, a one-time donation of $5 or $10 helps us stop the Democratic machine. Wake up. Because the truth is, Democrats are winning in Mississippi with an R by their name. Sooner or later, they're going to be able to win with a D by their name. Only a matter of time. Someone else put up. It's only a matter of time before Mississippi flips blue. Demographics are leading that way. First Georgia, Virginia, and then Mississippi. And as soon as they flip us, one of the most conservative states in the union, it's only a matter of time. We say we're the most conservative. We vote the most conservative. But we don't act like it. You silly. It doesn't matter that the people of Mississippi want this. We're just going to keep moving to the left. And the people of Mississippi are happy to have it because they think that we're conservative. Well, we can't vote for him, or not vote for him. The liberal will win. The liberals already winning. They've taken away choice. That's why there's a danger of a two-party system. We've lost our voice as conservatives. Only way to get it back is start having good, decent people run, or start making other parties people and actually giving them a chance. But that won't happen. Third parties or independent parties are becoming more popular, but I think it would take a whole lot more to wake up conservatives to vote another way. And the Democrats are one party. They're united. Now, are they ran by idiots? Yes. They don't have the brightest tools in the toolbox there. And that hurts their party. And we've talked about on the show how they're scattered and they don't really know what they're doing. But the thing you can say about them is they're not infiltrated. There's not conservatives that are really alive in the Democratic Party doing a lot. But they're all liberals in the Republican Party doing a lot. So how do we stop it? Again, you need to wake up. You need to start following these people you're voting for and see what they're actually doing. You need to vote for actual conservative politicians. Not rhinos, not someone that has a pretty little R by his name. Conservatives. You need to run. You need to get involved. It is past time to stand up. And that's what we're in danger of losing today. Can Democrats swing Mississippi? I think so. Because we've already seen them win a lot in Mississippi. Mississippi is this close to flipping. I wouldn't be shocked if we see it in either the next big election or the election after. Democrats are about to put a lot of money in Mississippi to prove a point. And people are going to sit back and do nothing. Or the Democrats are going to continue to be smart and run Democrats as Republicans, and we're just going to believe that they're Republicans. It's a hard truth, a hard pill to swallow. I understand. But it is happening. And it's time to wake up. Thank you for listening to the Conservative Colonel podcast. We are ending a bit early. I kind of mistimed that. I thought I had enough stories for today. But I do have to get back to work or I'm going to be screwed for the whole rest of the day. So I got to go anyway. But thank y'all for listening. Make sure to leave us a 5-star review on your podcatcher of choice. And heck, all of them if you want to. And to go check out theconservativecolonel.com in our store. And share this episode out. Let's bring conservatism back. Let's make conservatives great again. That's my bad. All right. Thank you all for listening. I'll see you next Thursday. God bless America and God bless Mississippi.